Welcome to a TUSD Robotics production. In this video, you will learn how to use the gear relation tool in OnShape. In this video, I would like to show you how to use the gear relation tool to get your gears to spin how they would in real life. Now, this is not necessary to build a CAD robot, but this is if you want the animate feature to work properly. So this is a little bit more of an advanced lesson. And it doesn't matter if you're using VexIQ parts or VexEDR parts, they work the same. They both have gears and they both have axles. So here you can see I have an axle or a pitch shaft that's going through this gear, and that is mated with the beam using a revolute mate. I have the same thing going on here with another pitch shaft or axle with the revolute mate through the beam. This one actually goes into the motor, and so when the motor spins, this axle will spin. And then I have my third axle here, and all three of these are mated with the beam using a revolute mate. Now that's important because you can only use the gear relation tool on a revolute mate. So you will also notice that I have fastened these gears to the axle. So the axle is the only thing that spins. The gear only spins because it's fastened or glued to that pitch shaft or axle. So we're going to use the fastener mate, and you can see I have these fastener mates right here. Those are the gears that I have connected to those pitch shafts. But you'll notice I have these two gear relationships right here that I have created. And you do this by combining two revolute mates and sharing which gear relationship you would like them to have. So when I go to this first revolute mate and I go to its menu by right-clicking, I can now go to animate. And this time when I animate, because I have grouped those gears together with a gear relation, when I hit play, you can see that all three gears move together. Now this is not a requirement to build a CAD robot, but this is a requirement if you want an animated version of your robot to work. Now one thing I want you to notice is that this gear spins to the right, while this one spins to the left, and the other one, as it reverses again, will spin to the right. So when the teeth mesh with one another, it makes the other gear that it's attached to spin the opposite way. So this is what it looks like to have gears spin in real life. When this one goes to the right, that goes to the left, that goes to the right. So that's what we're trying to accomplish with the gear relation tool. So let me go ahead and stop this animation and show you how I did this. So let me go ahead and get rid of my gear relationships here that I added. If I go to this revolute mate now and I edit and I try and animate, you'll see because I got rid of that gear relationship, only one is going to spin. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to group my revolute mates into a gear relationship. So I'm going to select this first one. And then if you're on a computer, I do it by holding the shift key down, and I'm going to select the second one at the same time. With an iPad, I think you can just tap both to select both. Again, on the iPad, you don't have this animation tool, but you can use the arrows to physically push and pull the gears with those arrows that appear on your screen. Much easier on a computer for this. So I have selected both the Revolute 1 and Revolute 2. So now I'm going to go over to my gear relation tool right here. And it says that I'm choosing Revolute 1 and Revolute 2. It's a gear relationship of 1. That means that they're going to spin at a 1-to-1 ratio because they're the same size. If this gear was double the size of this one, it would be a 2-to-1 ratio. If it was triple the size of this gear, it would be a 3-to-1 ratio. So right now we have a relationship of 1, which is perfect. And I'm going to go ahead and see what this looks like. So I'm going to hit the check mark to accept. And let's go ahead and animate this and see what it looks like. Okay, so you see the gears are going in the same direction. So we need to reverse a gear so that it looks like it does in real life. So let me stop this and go ahead and close it out. And here is now my gear relationship that I can open and I can edit. And I'm going to check the box for reverse direction and check mark to accept. Okay, so now let's test this animate. And you will see that we have one going to the right while the second one goes to the left. Okay, so the first two gears look like they're supposed to. So now I want to take this second axle, the revolute mate, and this third revolute mate, and I'm going to group these together with a gear relation. So that would be Revolute 2 for me and Revolute 3. So I'm going to select Revolute 2. I'm going to select revolute 3. I'm going to go over to my gear relation, and let's see what it looks like without the reverse. Let me check mark. Remember, it's a one-to-one relationship because the gears are the same size. And I'm going to go ahead and animate this revolute mate, and let's see what happens. Okay, so it looks like we've got these two gears going in the same direction, so I need to reverse the gear relationship I just made. So in gear 2, I'm going to edit, and I'm going to reverse that direction, check mark. Let's see what happens now. To revolute 1, and I hit animate, and if it worked as it's supposed to, as it did, I've got two gears going to the right with the center gear going to the left. Of course, it keeps switching, but you get the idea. This is what gears look like when they mesh together, and this is how you use the gear relationship to get your gears to spin as they would in real life. Now, of course, you can add a wheel onto one of these axles and it would spin as well. And again, this isn't required to complete a CAD, but to get it to animate correctly, you would need to do this. All right, I hope this helps.